In life, there are times when we feel stuck, despite putting in all our efforts to change. Old thoughts, old habits, and feelings of insecurity resurface, causing you to lose your way and preventing you from moving forward. In reality, it's not due to circumstances or external factors, but because you have yet to overcome the limits you've set for yourself long ago. Who you were, the things that have shaped you in the past, are exactly what's preventing who you could be. The powerful potential version of yourself that you can become. So how can you overcome your own limitations? How can you rise above fear? Does our spiritual growth and faith relate to all of this? The answer isn't a magic fix, but rather a challenging and transformative journey, one where you must face yourself honestly, recognize old barriers, and boldly step beyond them. Let's explore in this video how you can free yourself from the constraints of the past and open the door to a new future. If this is your first time visiting our channel, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay updated with our latest videos on spiritual topics, inner awakening, and philosophical insights. There's a part of you that doesn't want to let go. No matter how much you strive for a new reality, a fresh beginning, or a higher version of yourself, it feels as though something is always pulling you back, like an invisible force that keeps you tethered to the past, keeping you stuck in patterns that no longer serve you. You might feel the pull in moments of self-doubt when faced with new opportunities, or when you start to take risks in your personal growth. And no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you push yourself, it seems like there's always something there, holding you back from reaching your full potential. But here's the truth. That pull isn't a coincidence, bad luck, or fate. It's not some random event or a twist of destiny that keeps you from stepping into the future you've envisioned. It's the old version of you, that version of yourself that you've outgrown, but that is still holding on, lingering in the background, trying to keep you where you are. The surprising truth is this. It's not just a memory or a lingering habit, but an active and persistent force. This old version of yourself has been shaped by years of repetitive thinking and emotional patterns. It knows you. It knows your every move because it has been with you through every high and every low, in every success and every failure. It has learned your fears, your triggers, your doubts, and your desires. It understands what makes you tick, and it uses that knowledge to keep you exactly where you are. The key to overcoming this force isn't about fighting harder. It's about playing smarter. You cannot outfight it because this old version of you isn't some external enemy. It's a part of you that has been forged through years of conditioning. But once you understand how this old version operates, you can begin to dismantle its grip and step freely into the reality you've always dreamed of. Imagine your life as a chessboard. Each move you make is a decision, a step towards your future. The old self, the version of you that holds you back, is like an opponent who anticipates your moves, who reacts before you even have a chance to think. It manipulates your emotions, your thoughts, and your behaviors to keep you in check, to prevent you from making the moves that could change your life. Every time you try to break free, every time you take a step towards something new, it pulls you back, convincing you that you're not ready or that you're not capable. But here's the thing. A masterful chess player doesn't react. They strategize, they anticipate the moves of their opponent, and they stay one step ahead. To outsmart the old version of yourself, you need to think like a master strategist. You need to observe the moves that your old self is making, recognize the patterns it is using to hold you back, and then use that knowledge to outmaneuver it. The first step in this process is recognizing that the old self is more than just a collection of bad habits or fleeting thoughts. It's an entity. It is a force that you've unknowingly created through years of repetitive thinking, emotional reactions, and limiting beliefs. Every moment of self-doubt, every limiting belief, every instance of clinging to the familiar has contributed to shaping this entity. It thrives in the shadows of your mind, feeding on the routine and the familiar, on the things that feel safe and comfortable, even when they are holding you back. While this old self isn't inherently malevolent, its existence depends on keeping you exactly where you are. It doesn't want you to change because change threatens its very existence. This makes it resistant to change and relentless in its efforts to preserve the reality it knows best. It is an automatic, almost mechanical force that reacts to energy, emotions, and thoughts you have. And the more you repeat certain behaviors and patterns, the stronger it becomes. It learns from each interaction, becoming more effective at keeping you stuck in the past. Understanding the nature of this force is crucial. The old self operates like a blind intelligence. It reacts mechanically to the energy and emotions it has been given. It's not a conscious force. It's not consciously trying to sabotage you or make your life difficult. It simply wants to survive. It wants to maintain the paradigm it has known for so long. It wants to preserve the past because that is where it has been formed, where it feels safe. It doesn't hate you, and it doesn't wish you harm. It simply wants to maintain control over your actions, thoughts, and emotions, because that is what has kept you alive, at least in its perception of reality. But recognizing this force for what it is allows you to begin the process of freeing yourself from its grasp. The first step is to detach yourself from its influence. You must see it not as an insurmountable obstacle, but as a product of your past conditioning. It is not something that has power over you unless you give it that power. It is like a shadow that is only present because of the light you cast on it. The moment you start to illuminate its tactics, the moment you begin to observe it without judgment, its power starts to diminish. The moment you recognize the old self as a construct of your past, you take the first step toward reclaiming control over your life. The old self is no longer an invisible force working against you, but a visible construct that you can outgrow. It no longer has to define you. It no longer has to control your actions or thoughts. It can be dismantled piece by piece as you begin to make new decisions, adopt new behaviors, and break free from the old patterns that have kept you stuck for so long. Awareness of this process transforms the dynamic completely. Instead of reacting to the world around you, instead of constantly struggling to break free from old habits, you shift from a place of reactive behavior to a place of deliberate strategy. You begin to take intentional steps towards your goals, rather than being pulled back by the familiar, the comfortable, the known. Every new action you take, every new choice you make, weakens the grip the old self has on you. The more you act from a place of awareness and intentionality, the easier it becomes to outmaneuver the old version of yourself. This newfound clarity and awareness set the stage for the next steps in your journey to freedom. As you continue to recognize the old self for what it is, and as you begin to take deliberate action to change your patterns, you will start to experience freedom like never before. You will begin to feel lighter, more powerful, more in control of your own life. The key to unlocking the life you've always dreamed of is in your ability to recognize the old self for what it is. A force that has been formed by your past, but that no longer serves you. Once you recognize this, you can begin to outsmart it, to break free from its grasp, and step into the future you deserve. The power to change your reality is already within you. All it takes is awareness, strategy, and the courage to step into the unknown, knowing that the life you've always wanted is waiting for you on the other side of that fear. Your emotions are the fuel that powers your old self. While thoughts provide the structure for your behavior, emotions are the energy that brings those thoughts to life. Think of it like the engine that propels you toward action. Every time you feel frustration, fear, or doubt, these emotions act as a powerful adhesive that binds you to outdated patterns of behavior, keeping you stuck in the same cycle. These emotions are not just random reactions, they are deeply ingrained responses that have been programmed over time. And every time you experience them in response to a setback or challenge, your old self, the version of you that thrives on the past, gains strength. It's a cycle that perpetuates itself, keeping you locked in place, unable to move forward. The more you react to these emotional triggers, the more you reinforce the existence of the old version of yourself. This can be incredibly frustrating because it feels like no matter how hard you try, you're being pulled back to the same starting point. And one of the most insidious tactics of the old self is its ability to create perfectly timed emotional triggers. Those moments of frustration, sadness, or anxiety that come up at exactly the wrong time. These moments aren't random. They are deliberately designed mechanisms meant to pull you back into the grip of your old self. But here's the twist. Those emotions aren't truly yours. They are projections of a frequency that no longer serves you. These emotions are a reflection of past patterns, past fears, and outdated beliefs that you've internalized. Recognizing these emotional traps changes everything. Once you start to understand that the frustration, fear, and doubt that arise are not reflections of your true self, but echoes of the past, you can begin to shift your response. When frustration arises, stop and take a moment to examine it. Ask yourself, what is this really about? Is it really about the current situation, or is it an emotional reaction that has been triggered by an old belief or pattern? Recognizing that these emotions are not serving you and that they are simply old programming allows you to separate yourself from them. This awareness gives you the power to choose how you respond. Instead of reacting emotionally, shift your focus towards your vision for the future. Every time you do this, you weaken the hold your old self has on you. Emotional resilience isn't just a skill, it's a powerful tool for dismantling the control that your old self has over your thoughts, feelings, and actions. If emotions are the fuel, reactivity is the spark that ignites the old self into action. Most people operate on autopilot, reacting instantly to external stimuli without considering the consequences. Your old self thrives on this reactivity. It knows that every unguarded moment gives it an opportunity to take control. It relies on your impulse to react, your inability to pause and think before you act. And this is where the real challenge lies. Breaking free requires a shift from reactive to proactive thinking. Reactive thinking is the automatic response to life's challenges. It's the knee-jerk reaction that happens when something triggers your old fears, doubts, or insecurities. Proactive thinking, on the other hand, is the deliberate choice to respond from a place of clarity and intention. It's about taking control of your reactions, not letting the old self dictate your behavior. This shift requires cultivating patience and discipline, especially in high-pressure situations. When something triggers you, whether it's a stressful email, a difficult conversation, or a sudden setback, resist the urge to react impulsively. Give yourself space to evaluate the situation. Instead of jumping to conclusions or getting lost in negative emotions, take a deep breath and assess the situation from a place of mental clarity. This space allows you to see through the illusion of urgency that your old self creates. One of the most important tools for shifting from reactive to proactive thinking is cultivating what I call mindsight. Mindsight is the ability to look beyond the immediate, beyond what's happening in the moment, and to see the bigger picture. Eyesight focuses on what's right in front of you, the immediate circumstances and external stimuli. Mindsight, however, helps you understand the long-term implications of your actions, the patterns at play, and the deeper causes behind your emotional responses. When you learn to live with mindsight, you no longer get swept away by every emotional wave that hits you. Instead, you observe it, understand it, and choose your response. You begin to see beyond the short-term discomfort and recognize that every challenge is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to align more deeply with your true self. This elevated perspective weakens the influence of the old self, making it harder for it to manipulate you. Each moment of restraint, each moment where you pause and choose to respond with clarity, strengthens your ability to stay grounded and focused on what truly matters. As you get closer to transforming your old self, you'll start to notice that the old version of you becomes more desperate. It begins projecting its fear onto you, making you question your path. This fear doesn't come from within you. It's a reflection of the old frequency's fear of extinction. The old self is afraid of being left behind, of being no longer needed or relevant, and it will do anything it can to hold you back. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that the old self uses to keep you in its grip. It creates powerful emotional fields that pull you in, making you feel like something terrible will happen if you move forward. For example, when you fear financial loss, unexpected bills may suddenly appear. When you fear failure, you might find yourself in situations that seem to confirm your worst fears. This isn't coincidence, it's the magnification of your internal state. The more you dwell in fear, the more your reality seems to reflect that fear. It's like a magnetic field that attracts circumstances that match your inner state. The antidote to this tactic is detachment. When fear arises, don't let it dictate your actions. Acknowledge it, yes, but don't let it control you. Separate yourself from the emotion, recognizing it as a projection, not a truth. Fear is not an accurate reflection of your potential. It's an illusion designed to keep you small and safe within your comfort zone. By recognizing fear as an illusion, you can begin to disempower it. This practice of detachment is incredibly powerful. Not only does it diffuse the power of fear, but it also reinforces your connection to your new frequency, the frequency of growth, transformation, and expansion. Every time you separate yourself from fear, you strengthen your alignment with the future you are creating. You begin to operate from a place of clarity and intention, rather than reaction and fear. And as you continue to practice this detachment, your emotional resilience grows. You become less susceptible to the emotional traps that the old self sets, and more capable of navigating life's challenges with grace and purpose. To truly break free from the old self, you need to embrace this practice of detachment and emotional awareness. Recognize that your emotions are not who you are. They are simply signals. And while they can provide valuable information, they are not always accurate reflections of reality. By learning to detach from the emotional charge, you can begin to see life with greater clarity. You can begin to see opportunities, not obstacles, and recognize challenges as opportunities to expand rather than threats to your safety. As you detach from the fear, the frustration, and the doubt that the old self uses to keep you stuck, you will begin to feel a sense of freedom. You will start to experience life from a place of possibility, not limitation. And in doing so, you will start to realize that the true power to create the life you want has always been within you. It's not about fighting your old self. It's about recognizing it, understanding it, and choosing to step into your true power. When you do this, you free yourself from the chains of the past and step into a future that is truly yours to create. Outsmarting your old self is not just about tearing down its strategies. It's about constructing something far more powerful in its place. It's about recognizing that the old version of yourself, one driven by outdated beliefs, habits, and patterns, isn't just a passive part of who you are. It's an active force, a well-oiled system that has taken root in your mind and emotions, keeping you tethered to past limitations. So, outsmarting it is not merely about dismantling this force, it's about replacing it with something more aligned with your highest self. A version that has the power to transform your life and future. Every thought, every emotion, and every action that is in harmony with your new frequency will weaken the grip of the old one. The frequency of your true self, the one that is rooted in love, abundance, and personal power, will naturally begin to dissolve the old frequency that keeps you stuck in patterns of fear, self-doubt, and limitation. But here's the crucial part. This is not a quick fix. It is a gradual shift, a step-by-step process that requires immense consistency and dedication. Your attention is one of the most powerful tools you have in this transformation. Where you choose to place your focus will directly influence what grows in your reality. Think of your attention as currency. It's a precious resource, and you get to decide how to spend it. If you invest your attention in things that support your new self, things that are aligned with the future you desire, you'll be nurturing that future. On the other hand, if you continue to pour your energy into old habits, negative self-talk, and limiting beliefs, you'll continue reinforcing the past. So ask yourself, what are you focusing on right now? Is it the life you want to create, or is it the life you're trying to leave behind? This shift in focus is not just about willpower. It's about understanding that where you put your energy and attention determines the reality you experience. By intentionally focusing on things that align with your new vision, you strengthen your new frequency and, by extension, you diminish the power of your old self. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil. The more consistently you nourish those seeds, whether it's by thinking more positively, taking action toward your goals, or focusing on what's going right, the more they will grow. And as they grow, they create a new paradigm, one that feels natural, supportive, and unshakable. Momentum is one of the greatest allies in this process. Small, consistent actions over time compound and create significant shifts. You don't have to take huge leaps all at once. In fact, those small steps are more powerful than you realize. Every positive action, no matter how small, works to weaken the old self's grip on you. Think of it like the gradual erosion of a massive boulder by the constant drip of water. It doesn't happen overnight, but over time, the change is inevitable. By prioritizing actions that align with your goals, you begin to notice something incredible. The hold that the old version of you once had on your life starts to loosen. The power it once had over your decisions, your emotions, and your behaviors begins to fade. And what you're left with is a newfound freedom to make choices that support your growth. At first, this transformation may feel uncomfortable. The old self will try to convince you that you're making a mistake, that you're not ready, that you're not capable. This is normal. The old self doesn't want to lose its control. But as you continue to take those small steps, as you continue to make choices that align with your highest good, progress becomes inevitable. The old version of yourself will fight to stay relevant, but the more you grow into your new self, the more the old self begins to fade away. The final step in outsmarting the old version of you is embracing the unknown. This is where the real magic happens. Transformation is not just about shifting your thoughts or emotions, it's about stepping into a completely new reality. And that reality is unknown. To create something greater than the life you've known, you have to leave behind the familiar and take the leap into something uncertain. The fear you feel in this moment of transition is completely natural. It's a sign that you're on the right track. If you weren't afraid, you wouldn't be growing. Fear comes with growth. And as you move through that fear, you'll discover that it's not something to be afraid of. It's simply a signal that you're moving into a new version of yourself, one that is aligned with your higher potential. Trusting the process is essential. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you weaken the influence of the old self. The old self thrives in comfort, in the known, in the predictable. But when you choose the unknown, when you choose to grow, you activate a new frequency, a frequency that is untethered to the past and open to all possibilities. This process isn't about erasing your history or pretending that it didn't shape who you are. It's about using your history as a stepping stone towards something greater. Your past doesn't define you, but it can inform the person you are becoming. Outsmarting the old you isn't just a possibility, it's an inevitability. When you understand the game you're playing, when you fully embrace the process of transformation, every move you make with intention brings you closer to a life defined by freedom, abundance, and purpose. The key is in your hands. The only question that remains is, are you ready to make your next move? The game is yours to win. You are the player, the creator, and the architect of your own life. With every step you take, every thought you shift, and every action you align with your higher self, you are building a new reality. The old self, with its limitations and patterns, no longer holds power over you. As you continue to build momentum, the life you desire will come into focus, and the path to that life will be clear. Trust the process. Keep moving forward. The future you've always wanted is waiting for you. In your opinion, does a person's spiritual growth separate from the process of overcoming their fears in life? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you learned something from this video, please subscribe to the Top Hidden Knowledge channel for more content on wisdom, spirituality, and personal growth. Or, if you have time, check out other videos on this channel. Until next time.